I want to talk about this era of information overload because I think people can consume all kinds of information now. They can read books, they can watch your YouTube channel or my YouTube channel, and they can get all this information. Yeah, I still think with all this information, so many people are confused and they go, well, yeah, Dr. Lee, you're saying this, someone else is saying this, someone else I followed online is saying this. And my feeling, and I'd love to know your perspective on this, is that yes, we want to listen to experts, we want to get their advice and hear about the science and the research, but then we also have to then go inwards and go, okay, which bit of this advice works for us? I heard Dr. Lee say this. I heard Dr. Chatterjee say this. I heard Dr. whoever else say this. But actually, you know what? When I eat like that, that's when I feel good. And I feel we're missing that these days. We've outsourced our inner expertise about our own bodies far too much to external experts. And I think that is a massive problem these days that we're not talking about enough.
Yeah, no, our own health is incredibly personal. What makes me feel good when I make a food decision or I sit down to make a meal or even how I prepare a meal, for example, or if I sit at a restaurant, where I naturally kind of gravitate in terms of ordering food, that's very personal to me. And how I feel about how I eat and how much I eat and when I eat, these are all very important factors for health, but how it works for me is going to be different than how it works for you, for example, or anybody who's listening. So knowing thyself, like self-knowledge, is true knowledge. Every individual needs to reckon and recognize their own self-knowledge, of self-knowledge, self-limitation, in order to be able to advance. And you're right. We spend so much time externally consuming information and not enough time contemplating what makes us tick. How are we actually doing it? You know, there are taking a walk can be a solo activity that allows you to exercise and be in motion. But if you do it by yourself, I mean, some people like to walk with others, but if you do it by yourself, it's an opportunity to actually calm your mind from other people and think about yourself. Yeah. If you meditate, it's another way to actually and practice breathing exercise. It's another way to actually center yourself. And I think that, you know, one of the things, even though we talk about healthy foods and we talk about exercise, all these, we give a lot of recommendations, right? And I want to talk about the information overload sources in just 1 second. But, you know, we give a lot of advice, recommendations, because part of our mission, your mission and mine, is to get useful information out to people. But, you know, that's still an external thing to somebody listening to us. What's really important, equally important, is that anybody who wants to pursue better health, take the time to really get to know how they feel when they're healthy and how they feel when they're not feeling so healthy, and how individual moves make them feel to find out what their own path is. Everyone's got their own path. And by the way, I would say this again, I mentioned it briefly, personalized medicine is where all medicine is going. Yeah. So I don't care if you're in oncology and cancer, treating cancer, cardiology, treating, you know, blockages of your blood vessels in your heart. The bottom line is that we're all realizing one size doesn't fit all. Yeah. All right. And every individual is going to be different and respond differently to the same treatment that we might. Listen, medicine, when you were training and I was training, I'm sure we had some very, very common patterns and themes. One of the themes is that you take an antibiotic, you get right the same dose, and you treat for the same number of days, and you're done. It's like a cookbook that's just supposed to work the same way for everyone. And it's just not so. It's not true in medicine. It's not true in nutrition. And it's not true in exercise either. Yeah. And so I think that this whole idea of personalization, having individuals know themselves, is absolutely vital. Yeah. Vital as a start. And then I want to say just one more thing about this whole information overload. You know, this is true for children who are consuming information in a very particular way, right? So typical kid in high school or junior high school, or maybe even younger, is on their phone scrolling all day long. They're watching TikTok, looking at various things, they're communicating with Snapchat and quick, communication.
Are you tired of waking up exhausted even when you've technically had enough sleep? Do you feel like you're constantly doing everything right, yet you still feel stuck? You're not broken, you're just running the wrong habits. I've taken everything I've learned from helping thousands of patients and boiled it down into 5 tiny daily habits that can transform your life in just 30 days. No overwhelm, no pressure, just small shifts that reset your energy, mood, and mind. If you're ready to stop surviving and start feeling like yourself again, download my free guides now. Just click on the first link in the description box below or scan the QR code on screen. You've got absolutely nothing to lose except the version of you that's been running on empty for far too long.
It's very externally focused and it's consumptive. There's an algorithm that feeds you more of what you seem to be enjoying seeing or looking at longer. But that doesn't actually help you get to know yourself.
Yeah.
And it also doesn't force you to consider the source of your information. I think another really important thing for anybody who is interested in health information from experts is, first, try not to listen to everybody and everything. Try to pick a few people who are trusted voices. It's up to you to decide how you connect to them. One of the big challenges, I think, of the online community, whether it's YouTube or Instagram or these other media platforms, is that anybody can actually deliver information. And I think that one of the things that I believe is that people who are trained in health and who do research and who are very careful in their communication and what they're actually projecting, because words matter.
Yeah.
I think that that's really important from a source perspective, so you can actually narrow yourself down. Pick 2 or 3 people that you feel you resonate with, you like their voice, but do check into their backgrounds to see if you think that person should be a trusted resource. Yeah. So you're not getting wild ideas that may not actually be correct.
Yeah, thank you, William, for sharing that. Really, some great life advice there, beyond food in terms of how to navigate the modern world. And I think I feel very passionately about that idea that we've got to start tuning into ourselves more. Yes, there are some core dietary principles that we can share. And, you've written 2 fantastic books on a lot of these things that a lot of the foods that people can choose to help improve their health for whatever reason they want. But also, you've got to try this stuff out for yourself and really pay attention to, when do I feel good? What pattern of eating suits me? When do I not feel bloated? When do I feel that I sleep well? What is going on in my life when those things happen? That's the ultimate knowledge, that self-knowledge, that self-awareness, that insight, that's wisdom. And honestly, if I reflect over my career about the patients who truly transformed their lives for good, it was those patients who at some point converted the advice being from the outside to figuring that out for themselves and go, no, I know what's best for me. I know which way of eating works best for me. Having heard from the experts, but then becoming their own expert. So that's something I really want to help people do more and more. Going back to foods then, Dr. Lee, we mentioned a few foods already that can help our stem cells. What about olive oil? Does that have any relationship with our stem cells?
Absolutely. So olive oil is a healthy fat, as they say. It's a plant-based food, comes from plants, the olives, and it contains bioactives, many bioactives. Some of them have been identified. The ones that actually have been best studied, one of them is called hydroxytyrosol. The other one is called oleocanthal. And, for people who are listening, if you're a science geek, you can write all this stuff down, but just know that there are these natural substances that have powerful effects on our body. And for example, hydroxytyrosol and as a molecule, but olive oil as a food substance, all right, has been shown to be protective of our stem cells, meaning when you consume olive oil and you get these polyphenols, the hydroxytyrosol, oleocanthal in our bloodstream circulating around.
One of the most important pillars for our health is, of course, nutrition. But I think because of our busy, stressed out lives, so many people are struggling despite their best intentions. So many patients over the years have told me that they know what they should be doing, but they're struggling to actually do it. And that's why I'm a fan of AG1. AG1 is a daily health drink that contains over 70 vitamins, minerals, and other ingredients that are designed to make nutrition really easy. It's been in my own life for over 6 years now. It's simple, it's tasty, it's convenient, and it forms a part of my morning routine. People will routinely tell me that taking AG1 regularly has improved their focus, their cognition, their energy. Some people even tell me that they drink less coffee when they're taking AG1. And there's research out there showing us that taking AG1 regularly can improve specific markers of your gut health, which is really good for your immune health. So if you're looking to upgrade your own nutrition in a simple, tasty, and convenient way, try AG1. To get a free bottle of vitamin D and 5 free travel packs, go to drinkag1.com/live more.
Look, there's a lot of stuff in our bloodstream that's going on, a lot of exposures that we have. And when you've got hydroxytyrosol from olive oil in the bloodstream along with your stem cells, they sort of act as police escorts to help your stem cells get to where they go in a safer way. They're escorted to where they're needed. They're protected. And so why do they need to be protected? Well, you think about it. There's a lot of oxidative stress that can be in our bodies. Oxidative stress can come from fumes that you breathe, from vaping, from off-gassing from carpets, from artificial flavorings and preservatives that you have in your food, from cleaning materials that you're actually having. All these chemical exposures cause oxidative stress in our blood, which can damage your stem cells. Hydroxytyrosol, again, is one of those natural molecules that has been shown to protect your stem cells against oxidative stress. So literally, it's like a police escort that helps your stem cells get to where it needs to go in sort of a safe and efficient manner.
So when you think about olive oil, there are multiple reasons to consume olive oil. You just mentioned the research around stem cells. I'm sure if I asked you about longevity or inflammation or blood vessels, you could also talk to me about the benefits of olive oil.
Yeah.
But how do you recommend people consume it? Are you a fan of it being cold on salads and vegetables? Or are you someone who says, yeah, it's okay to actually cook with olive oil as well? Because this is an area of a little bit of confusion and controversy online. So I'd love to get your take on this.
Yeah. I want to be very clear about this. Olive oil is, of all the cooking oils, a healthier choice to be able to have with a meal. You don't have to cook with it, but you can cook with it. There's a myth that olive oil has a low smoke point, so you shouldn't do high heat cooking. As it turns out, olive oil's smoke point is almost the same as canola oil, which is used for frying. It's pretty close. You shouldn't reuse olive oil at a hot heat, but cooking with it in a wok, if you're doing Asian cooking, is perfectly fine. Actually, you just have to like the taste of the olive oil in cooking it. So again, that's a little bit of a myth. You can actually cook with olive oil at pretty high heat, and you're fine. Certainly, sautéing is no problem. Stir frying is no problem. And by the way, in the Mediterranean, I don't encourage people to eat a lot of fried foods because the frying creates these little side products called acrylamides, which, are potentially carcinogenic. But everyone occasionally, people like crispy food. In the Mediterranean, how they fry foods, they fry them in olive oil. All right. And in fact, the polyphenols get into the food that you fry. So it actually makes something that's not that healthy a little bit healthier with the polyphenols in it. I would say, so you can actually cook with it. I'm not saying you should fry with it or eat fried foods, but cooking with it is fine. Using olive oil cold, plain is also fine if you want to dip it in some bread or put it in a salad dressing. I think the quality of the olive oil is really, really important. Okay. And a lot of people don't appreciate this, but when you go out to buy olive oil, what do most people do? Well, if you are for the first time buying olive oil, it's overwhelming how many different choices you have. So you might go for the less expensive one, or you might go for the one that's got a more attractive label on it. I'll tell you the way that I recommend doing it and what I do myself. I always want to get the highest quality olive oil. So what I look for are olive oils that are made with pressed with only one kind of olive. It's called monovarietal olive oil. And there's two reasons for that. When olive oil makers make olive oil, they're picking olives when they're ripe off the tree and literally just crushing it and then spinning it in a basket. And so it whips out all the fluid and the oil floats to the top. And then the watery stuff goes to the bottom and the chunks will go to the bottom. And they just scoop the olive oil off. They don't filter it. And so that's why you wind up getting little bits that are green. So extra virgin first press olive oils always going to be tastier. You're going to get that peppery, sometimes peppery taste to it. By the way, that's what the polyphenols are. They're actually giving you that taste sensation, a great taste sensation of olive oil. All right. Many olive oil makers, and you can look this up on Google, there's a whole scam in the olive oil industry where people who are labeling olive oil are in fact adding other oils to it. It has some olive oil and they cut it. And so that's not good. You're getting who knows what other kind of olive oils. It's a whole scam. The other times people are mixing different types of olive oils together, sometimes the cheapest ones they can find together to serve it up to you. And so the way to get around that is to look for monovarietal olive oils pressed with only one variety of olives. These are going to usually be coming from a single farm. All right. It could be a large farm, but a single farm. And this also not only guarantees the quality of the olive oil because it's not going to be cut with other things, monovarietal, it's a label, mono one varietal type of olive. But I look for monovarietals, olive oils coming from one of three different kinds of olives that you can actually find very easily in the store. And the reason I look for them is because they have the highest levels of polyphenols of all the olives. All right. So if you like Spanish olive oil, all right, I look for monovarietal Spanish olives made with the type of olive, the variety of olive called Picual, Picual, Picual olives. Fortunately, it's a very common olive in Spain. And fortunately, that olive, you can easily find Picual monovarietal olive oil, and it's not that expensive. All right. If you like Greek olive oil, I love Greek olive oil. The olives that have highest polyphenols among Greek olives are called Koroneiki, Koroneiki, Koroneiki olives. It's come from the Peloponnesus. Fortunately, a very common olive in Greece. Monovarietal, highest polyphenols, taste amazing. Great for whatever you're cooking or grilling or salad dressing. And then Italian, if you like Italian olive oils, in Umbria, the highest polyphenols have been found in Moriolo olives, Moriailo, Moriolo olives, which is found in Umbria. It's a less common olive. It's going to be more expensive, but again, tastes great, highest polyphenols. And so I kind of tell people, look, if you're going to go buy olive oils, why not get the highest quality? It's fuel. And if you're going to, and it's going to, you want to be able to have it taste great. If you're going to use it and dip some bread or whatever it is, sourdough bread or whatever, something healthy in it, or you're going to dribble it on some pasta or whatever you're cooking with it, why not get the best? And why not get the best with not only best taste, but also pure and also with the highest polyphenols. And that's how I actually choose with olive oil. By the way, some people have reported, I heard this before, that olive oils are not good for your blood vessels. They actually damage the lining of your blood vessels. That's all bunk. I'm a blood vessel expert, and I'm also an expert on food as medicine. We've studied this. It's a theoretical thing that got put together that winds up actually not being true. Well-intentioned people try to put science together, and I'm not real scientists, and they don't know the data. It's understandable how they may come up with it, but olive oil is perfectly fine. In fact, it's very healthy for your blood vessels, quite the opposite. Now, how much to eat? There's a lot of studies out there of olive oil. On average, if you take a look at all the studies, the average amount of healthy oil to consume per day is about 3 to 4 tablespoons worth of olive oil. Okay. That's a fair amount of olive oil if you're not an olive oil consumer. But if you think about the Mediterranean, 3 to 4 tablespoons. Go ahead and take a measuring a spoon out in your kitchen, and to take out 3 to 4 tablespoons and put it into on a dish. It's not that much. And if you are scrambling your eggs with it, all right, if you like eggs instead of butter, and in lunch, if you're making a salad dressing with it, and you're going to put some salad dressing on it. And then at dinner, if you're going to roast some vegetables or grill some vegetables, and you're going to put some olive oil on it, you will easily get 3 to 4 tablespoons of olive oil into your system.
Okay, brilliant. That's super practical. So essentially, a lot of advice there on olive oil. If people are struggling with the cost of things, as many people are these days, is your advice to get the best quality olive oil that you can afford?
Yeah, absolutely. And by the way, I would say it's a buyer's world out there, particularly because you could buy things on the internet as well. If you search for monovarietal Picual or Cornecchia or Moriel olive oil, and you just let the internet show you what's the cheapest one, and do a little review to make sure that they're, a good quality manufacturer or supplier, order it, buy it. That's the fastest way to actually get high quality. Listen, people spend a lot of money on a lot of different things, right? But then you actually, again, take a look at your own lifestyle. I can tell you the best investment you can make is getting high quality food for yourself. And in Europe, it's a lot better than the United States. I mean, people buy junk stuff for food, and they spend their money on things that are unhealthy as well. They buy cheap, unhealthy things, and they spend money on unhealthy things. I think getting healthy food, high quality food, is one of the best investments you can actually make.
If you enjoyed that short clip, I think you are really going to enjoy the full conversation, which you can check out here.